So today I want to talk about something that I've been a little bit in denial about, and I don't know about you, but you might be as well. And that is what's happening with fentanyl in Wichita Falls. So we're getting started right now. So this is our community, and it's our responsibility to begin to pay attention to what's happening around this thing called fentanyl, because unless you're hiding under a rock, you know that it's happening. But here's the thing is, I personally have been in denial about it, thinking, you know, I live in this beautiful place called Wichita Falls and nothing like that's happening here. And then of course I did my own research and fact checking, which I have a video on that. I recommend it highly. It's time to start the conversation about what is really happening right here in Wichita Falls. So I'm Debbie Dobbins, you lovely Wichita Falls family of mine. And for those of you that are thinking about moving here, it's a great place to be. I say that all of the time. Today, I'm going to have this very important conversation, and it's one that's happening in homes across our community and our country. And that thing, that's something that's affecting neighbors, friends, and yes, even our families. I thought about this video and I didn't want it to be a fear-mongering video because that's not what this is, but it's also a reality check. It's about being aware and understanding what's actually happening literally right here in Wichita Falls. And I don't know about, maybe you won't be as surprised as I was, but I was a little bit shocked, honestly, when I did the research. Our community has faced, like everybody else's community, challenges. And our community comes together when it faces challenges. Even COVID in 2020, the entire community came together. We protected each other. We had difficult but necessary conversations with each other and with our families. And today we're facing another challenge that deserves the same level of attention and community response as COVID did. And I'm going to explain to you why. In the past few years, our community has been dealing with something that often goes unspoken. And that is this presence of fentanyl in our neighborhoods. It's talked about in the news, but I don't hear it being a conversation all the time, everywhere in our community. And at this point, based on what the research I've done, it needs to be all the time. Because here's the thing, staying silent is not going to help you or someone that you love. Having open, honest conversations will. This new reality that we're in is really quite different than what I ever anticipated. And you know, the thing about fentanyl is it kills people. It's not like heroin, it's not like cocaine, none of that. In 2022, our county saw 192 lives lost to fentanyl overdoses. And here's the thing is that the statistics are not as easily accessible for current. So that's 2022. You can bet you're behind that that's way more. That's not just a number. Those were our neighbors, our friends, and our family members. And I want you to get this in context. Compare that 2022 number, which I know is higher without me calling the police department because I couldn't do that research, but I'm not going to. Compare it with 2018, just 4 years prior. That number was dramatically lower. This shows us something really interesting and important. This isn't just a big city problem anymore. It's just not. What makes this particularly concerning is how this increase compares to other challenges we've faced. During the height of COVID-19, our community mobilized, shared information, and worked together, right? Because there was a big cry for what was happening, and we need that same energy now. Absolutely. And understanding this challenge is going to be critical going forward. So in order to understand what we're facing, I want to look at some very crucial information. In 2018, as I said, our county, just Wichita County alone, lost 24 community members to fentanyl. Lost meaning they passed away. But by 2022, that number had risen to 192. That's an 800% increase, in case you want to do the math, in 4 years. 4 years. That's nutty. While COVID claimed 761 lives in our county since the beginning of the pandemic, you can extrapolate that. Fentanyl is now the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45, surpassing COVID, car accidents, cancer, and suicide, right here in Wichita Falls. If you combine all of those things, it's still the leading cause. I mean, it's crazy that we're not talking about it every single day. And what makes this crisis particularly challenging is how this drug enters our community. And if you're not aware of these things, I hope you're listening to this as basically a PSA, a public service announcement, because you might be able to save somebody's life. The dealers out there are pressing fentanyl into pills that look exactly like common prescription medications. And this is a problem because if you're not getting it from a doctor, you're getting it from someplace else. The dealers are making them look like regular painkillers, anxiety medications, even vitamins. And the scary part is just 2 milligrams of fentanyl, which is such a small amount. That's smaller than a pencil tip, can be lethal. It's 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. That's pretty powerful. And its real purpose is to kill people. It truly is. I'm so blown away by the fact that it's been tamped down, particularly here in Wichita Falls. Drug distribution routes going straight through here, and I'm gonna share with you some vital information about what our law enforcement's doing, but the drug often enters our community through interstate trafficking routes. If you notice on 287, there's trucks all the time. This is a trafficking route for so many things that we need in our world, but it also is a trafficking route for drugs. Dealers are using social media, dating apps, and even word of mouth at schools, at your schools, to distribute these counterfeit pills. They're marketing them as legitimate prescription medications, but there's nothing legitimate about them. Zero. But here's where there's some hope. Our local law enforcement is fighting back. Our local Wichita Falls and Wichita County law enforcement, and they're making some progress. Just this past year, in January 2024, they made one of the largest busts in county history, seizing over 5,600, think of that, 5,600 fentanyl pills. Literally, that could kill 5,600 people. That's potentially 5,600 lives that they saved. That's great, but it still is not putting a dent in it. In September 2024, they shut down an entire operation running out of a local motel because they're stopping here on their route to get to wherever they're going. They seized 1,400 more pills, saved 1,400 more lives. Law enforcement is now able to charge dealers with felony murder when their sales lead to deaths, showing just how seriously our community is taking this threat. So at least we have some of those things in play, but this isn't about creating fear. I'm telling you, it's not about sending fear into you. It's about understanding what we are up against so we can protect each other. When we look at these numbers, which are staggering, they're just staggering, both the losses and the saves, we see two things: the seriousness of what we're facing and the effectiveness of our community's response when we work together. And that is the beauty of Wichita Falls. And you know how much I gush about Wichita Falls and how much I love Wichita Falls. And it's once again time for us to come together just like we did during COVID. The most important thing to remember is this: no legitimate prescription medication comes from a friend, a dealer, or social media. So just having those conversations with your family around the kitchen table, with your friends. Every pill from an unauthorized source should be considered potentially lethal. Can I say that again? If it comes from an unknown source, it's potentially lethal. Don't put it in your mouth, and please talk to your kids. This isn't about trust. It's about staying alive. But so here's where hope comes in, because we are so about hope in this community. Our community is responding. Law enforcement is working tirelessly. Community organizations are stepping up. But most importantly, families are starting to have these crucial conversations. And if that's the only part that you can play, do that. Have these conversations with your kids, with your grandkids, with your schools, with your friends. These conversations aren't about scaring anyone. I really want to be clear about that. I'm so tired of what you hear all day, every day, press or otherwise, is about scaring someone. It's about educating yourself. It's about being informed, being prepared, and being there for each other. So what can we do as a community? First, let's talk to our kids, not with fear, but with facts. They need to know that any pill not prescribed by their doctor and dispensed by a pharmacy could be dangerous. Second, let's learn the signs. Knowledge saves lives. You have to know the signs. So if you need more information on that, please respond to me, put a comment in the chat, because I'm always willing to help people see what that could be. Third, let's support each other. If you know someone's struggling, there are resources available, and they are so important to know what your next steps are, because it's so sad to imagine that a loved one of yours, by mistake or unaware, takes this horrible drug, and then they're gone. Wichita Falls has always been a community that takes care of its own. We've faced challenges before, and we've overcome them together. This situation is no different. It's not about fear. It's about awareness, support, and coming together as a community. So start the conversation at your dinner table tonight. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, even if it's in a different community, because they can do their own research for their own community, because it's everywhere right now. It's everywhere. And remember, you're not alone. You're just not alone. We're all in this together. For your Wichita Falls, I'm Debbie Dobbins. Please take care of each other. And if you want to know more information about Wichita Falls, subscribe to this channel and learn about this community, because we are a loving, caring community. Queen of Magic out.